Hi, I'm Rick Fleeter, and I made this video to give you a quick snapshot of the Space Horizons workshop at Brown University, this year's workshop on the topic of microrovers, to do two things. First, to explain in general what the Space Horizons workshop is all about, and then a little bit about this year's topic and registration and so on. Ken Ramsley and I started Space Horizons a few years ago to provide a different kind of conference-type environment, a different objective. The objective being, instead of having a large conference with a presentation of work that's being done in the field, to have a very small, focused workshop environment, inviting people who are experts in the field, who are working in the field, researching, who might be clients or customers or funding sources for a new technology. And by new, we mean a technology which is still over the horizon, which isn't really at this point available to people who want to do various things in space, to look at what are these things that are just over the horizon, what would be the advantages to our community if they existed, and what are the obstacles, what are the things, the actions that need to be taken in order to make these attractive new capabilities a reality. And to give you a sort of a picture of the type of topics that we've covered, we spent 2 different years looking at propulsion topics. One on the subject of nanosat launch vehicles. How would a launch vehicle dedicated to putting a kilogram to 10 kilograms in orbit work? What technologies would you want to use to optimize that? And what are the possibilities, what new ways, what new efficiencies could we realize if we wanted to launch what we used to call a paperclip launch vehicle, to launch something very, very small into space? Then a couple of years later, we looked at desktop, what we call desktop Delta V, propulsion systems for nanosatellites that can be built in the same desktop shirt sleeve environment that we currently build CubeSats and other nanosatellites in, to make propulsion part of the toolkit that's available to people designing and developing very small missions. In the systems area, we spent years ago on the topic of chipsats, an entire satellite that can be built on a single integrated silicon substrate, which is a technology which nearly exists, but then people want to know, well, even if it existed, what could we do with it? What are the new types of missions that you could realize with a chipsat? And what are the problems in building a chipsat? And as usual, we had people at the conference who were experts in that, who were developing chipsats, and also the people who might eventually become users for chip satellites. This year, we're looking at a similar set of questions concerning the subject of microrovers, which could be considered the on-the-surface analog of a nanosatellite. Cheap, small, rapidly developed to do a low-cost mission, but in this case with a rover that would involve landing on the surface, on an extraterrestrial surface, to be able to do sampling, in situ measurements, and so on. What is the state of the art? What isn't available? How could this capability be made available, and what would we do with it if we had it? And as usual, the conference is limited to 30, 40, 50 people, many of whom are invited, who are working in the field, who are experts, who will kick off the day on the morning of February 16th with presentations on their work, how they see this field evolving, what they see as the obstacles. Then we have a link up with a paired conference that goes on at the same time at the University of Strathclyde in Scotland, where they also have an active program in rovers and microrovers. And after that video link up, where we'll share our ideas, our experiences, their ideas, their experiences, we have a lunch with a poster session where students who are doing student projects in this field present their projects via posters during our lunch. And in the afternoon, we have more of what's really a workshop environment, with panels put together of people with different perspectives for more of an open discussion, Q&A type format on specific issues having to do with the realization of this objective of having microrovers. The conference ends by 3:30 or 4 p.m. so that people can be on their way and back to wherever they need to be by the next morning, to make it a concentrated experience that doesn't take too much of your time and is definitely a high value per time invested and, frankly, per money invested experience. If this looks interesting to you, I encourage you to go to the website that I'll flash on the screen here and take a look at the conference in detail and think about registering early, because it is an event with a limited number of slots available in order to maintain that highly interactive environment. We do make space for students available and have various ways of supporting student travel and student attendance at the conference. So if you're a student, don't hesitate to get in contact with us about being present, and also encouraging you to give a poster during our lunchtime session. Hope you'll find all this very interesting, and I look forward to seeing you at Brown on February 16th.